Game 2 of the 2018 National Lacrosse League Finals brings us to Rochester, New York, where the Saskatchewan Rush look to make it 3 in 4 years. Rochester trying to keep their season alive and protect what is an incredible 14-game playoff home winning streak. Saskatchewan, Rochester, the NLL Finals, Game 2 coming next. All eyes on Matt Vince as we welcome you inside Blue Cross Arena. Rochester and Saskatchewan, Game 2 coming your way. It is a crucial one here in the NLL Finals. Hi, everybody. Alongside Brian Shanahan, I'm Jay Alter. And Shanny, this game speaks for itself. Saskatchewan trying to wrap things up with a win today. They'll bring the cup back home. Rochester trying to keep their season alive.
Yeah, you know, Saskatchewan looked really good last week, and it shouldn't be a surprise, but it also won't be a surprise for Rochester to have a big pushback. The question is a pushback good enough to stop this really tough Saskatchewan team?
Well, game 1, and let's remind you by taking a look, it was all Rush, a 16-9 thumping at home. It was actually close early, Shanny, but really Saskatchewan just too good at home.
Yeah, you know, early in the game, Rochester did a good job shutting them down, but this is a key turning point. Rochester on the power play. Robert Church gets his first goal, a short-handed one, and that leads quickly to 2 more goals. It ends up, he gets 3 goals in 3 minutes. That's actually Mark Matthews' goal when it stretched out to 10-4. A little bit of pushback from Rochester. Eric Fennell scored a couple, but it was a 3 goals by Robert Church early that made the difference. Turned into a 7-goal run, and that was a big difference in the game.
Well, you mentioned a loaded Rush attack, and we've seen it all season, a 14-4 regular season record. But really, the hot hand right now is Robert Church coming off that 4-goal performance. He leads that front line.
Yeah, he sure does. And as I said, that was the shorthanded goal right here that took a 4-3 lead, tied it up 4-4, and then he gets 2 quick ones after that. That one in front of the net. And shortly after, on a nice bounce, he picks it up, scores his 3rd goal. He scores a 4th goal later on in the game, but no question, he was the hot hand offensively for Saskatchewan. But it's not just the fact he scored 4 goals. It was the 3 goals when they needed the most.
And momentum, so important in the NLL Final. Saskatchewan got that a week ago. Rochester now, their back is against the wall. Where do they look offensively to try and get some points tonight?
Well, I think they want to get some more production out of Joe Reseteris because this guy was the leader of the team this year. A guy who averaged 45 points a season his first 5 years in the league. This year had a breakthrough, 100 points, the most points ever by an American-born player. He's from Hamburg, New York, and he actually scored 14 points in 1 game this year. They would love to see a game like that. Maybe not 14, but they'd love to see him break out for a big game. And you know, he's not the only guy they need producing, but after having such a great regular season, they'd love to see him have a big game.
Well, it only counts if you do it in the playoffs, right?
Absolutely right.
And definitely Rochester leading on Reseteris, especially as Shanny said, after what has been a remarkable regular season. A big storyline headed into Game 1 was the goalie play. Everybody said that Matt Vince in Rochester had the advantage in net, but boy did Evan Kirk impress in Game 1. 35 saves for the Rush.
Yeah, I think he's answered all questions so far. And it probably wasn't fair to Kirk that people were questioning him. He just hasn't had the playoff experience that we knew Matt Vince had. He's only he's 4-2 in playoff games now, Evan Kirk, and getting his 2 last wins in these playoffs. But he answered all questions, as I said, made some big saves, a couple assists, and there was a few times where he stopped a fantastic scoring chance. Ball went up the floor, his team scored, and that makes a big difference. You see that a lot in lacrosse. He played great.
And for Matt Vince on the other side of things, Shanny, he's been in so many big games. He's won cups here in Rochester. Now is back against the wall. He's got to be the guy.
He sure is, and I'll tell you, Matt Vince faced 64 shots last week. He's got an 18-9 playoff record. He's won it 3 times. You know who his toughest critic is, though? Himself. He will want to be better, and I thought he was good last week, but knowing him, I think he will be better this week.
Now they need a Matt Vince performance tonight as they look to stave off elimination. Saskatchewan, they want the cup. They don't want to go back to a Game 3. We'll have Game 2 coming your way next. It's the NLL Finals, and you're watching it right here.
Think you've got what it takes to compete with Curtis Dixon, to shut down Lyle Thompson, and to hang with Tom Schreiber? Show your stuff in front of GMs, coaches, and scouts at the 2018 National Lacrosse League Combine in Dallas, Texas on July 8th. This could be your chance to play in the big leagues.
So gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
A beautiful rendition of both the Canadian and United States national anthem, and now we are ready for some lacrosse here in Rochester. Brian Shanahan, Jay Alter with you inside Blue Cross Arena. Saskatchewan with the series 1-0 lead, trying to win the cup tonight with a victory. Rochester trying to stave off elimination here at home and force a Game 3, which would decide the cup winner for 2018. Rochester, the home team, in white and blue. Saskatchewan, the road team, in green and black. The Rush, a dominant 16-9 victory in Game 1, and now they try and bring that momentum with them to Game 2. Shanny, we said it in the open, but certainly all the pressure on Rochester headed into this game.
Yeah, you know, they want to extend this series, and you know, the great thing, you've got two teams here who are very used to being in this place. This Rochester team, 10 players have won championships, 26 rings.
Okay, he's here.
30 rings between the players on Saskatchewan, with 16 players having one.
Let's go down to the third member of our crew, Ashley Docking, who's standing by with Rochester's Cody Jamieson.
Cody, for whatever reason, your guys' mantra over the last couple of days has been that we're better with our backs against the wall. How is that the case?
I think we had to do it at such an early point in the season that we just became accustomed to it, and we got a great group of guys who wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
Sid Smith out again for the second finals game. He's a leader on this team. Your coach said, unfortunately, it's the next man up. As a leader of this group, how can you try and fill that void?
I don't think we got to fill Sid. I don't think we can really. We just like Hazer said, we just got the next guy up. Just got to try and do his best. We run a team mentality anyway, a team defense, team offense. So no individual is bigger than the team. So we'll just try our best without him.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ashley, and thanks to Cody. And that's the breaking news. Sid Smith, the Rochester captain and starting defenseman, out again. He missed game one with a lower body injury. That same injury has kept him out. Eric Schewel back in the lineup again for the Knighthawks defense. And another change for Saskatchewan. Dan Dawson, a legendary player who started the year with Rochester, in the lineup tonight for the Rush, as we are ready to go here in Blue Cross Arena for game two. Jake Withers in white for Rochester, Jeremy Thompson in black and green for Saskatchewan.
And Withers dominated on faceoffs last week. I think the goal for Saskatchewan is to not let him win clean and get fast breaks.
Withers picks up right where he left off, won 20-7 at the faceoff X last week in Saskatchewan, wins the opening faceoff as we are underway in game two of the 2018 NLL Finals. That physicality that Saskatchewan had last week showing up again on the first possession. Loose ball picked up by the Rush. Saskatchewan used a 14-4 regular season record, the best in the entire league. Well deserving to be in this final with a 1-0 lead in the series, and now a 1-0 lead today. Robert Church, he's picking up where he left off. 4 goals in game one, and he opens the scoring on the road in Rochester.
And when you're a great scorer, you just seem to find the net. A little bit of an off-balance shot. He's leaning back, doesn't get a lot of power from it, but this guy, and it happens with the great shooters. They just shoot at the net, and it finds the holes.
That is exactly the start on the road that Robert Church in Saskatchewan wanted. Church, he apologized to the Saskatchewan fans this week. He said, we're not coming home for game 3. We're going to take care of business on the road. And action speaking louder than words there in the opening minute.
Well, I think most of those Saskatchewan fans would be happy not to get another home game.
Certainly. Meanwhile, Withers, 2 for 2 from the face-off X. He dominated in game one, like we said. Can it lead to a goal on this possession? Stopped by Evan Kirk.
And we spoke to Coach Hazen before the game, and definitely the main area that they had to improve, Rochester, is the take away the transition from Saskatchewan and watch the turnover. They had way more turnovers than they usually do in a game, and that's because of the pressure from this defense of Saskatchewan, and that's good job by Rochester on defense here.
Got to stop to shut down Church and Matthews on a give and go. Settling the play with Kyle Jackson. Rochester has come up empty on their opening 2 possessions. 10 seconds left to shoot. Whizzes by Kirk, bounces off the wall. Foot race for the loose ball. It'll go Saskatchewan's way. A quick restart, darting towards Vince, and it bounces over the cage. Battle and a scramble for the loose ball. Rochester has it. Mark Matthews stays down on the board, finally pops up as the Knighthawks take it for another attack. Still looking for that first goal of the game. A win today would save their season. The Rush can bring home the NLL Cup if they can close out with a road win, and they've been a dominant road team, 8-1 on the road this season. And there's why, suffocating on the defensive end, and now they're running in transition. 4-on-2 for the Rush. Trying to pick the right pass. Bouncer goes wide. Rebound right back to the Rush.
Yeah, and that is their game. Their defense puts on pressure, then they move up the ball quick.
Low that time, it's met by Matt Vince. And Rochester needs a performance from their legendary goaltender tonight. Tell you, Vince could sure use some help on the offensive end as well. His goalkeeper counterpart, Evan Kirk, has not made it easy for the Knighthawks. Another save there.
Well, Kirk has come out to challenge the angles. You know, he's confident that his defense is not giving anywhere to pass to.
Robert Church, 4 goals last week in game 1, already with a goal today. Over to Matthews, swim dodge, feed in front, and a goal! Acrobatic! Jeff Shatler topped up and put it in.
Unbelievable pass by Matthews. Look at this. He just leads Shatler. He throws the ball to an area where there is no player. He just knows Shatler's on the way, and pretty athletic grab and shot, but we are going to have the flag. And I guess on that replay that we just saw, and it's also on the big screen, Coach Hazen thought that he might have seen a foot in the crease, and we'll get a closer look at this in a minute.
We will take a look, but how about the athleticism and the trust between Matthews and Shatler?
Well, Matthews set a record for assists this season. He's such a great playmaker. He's got great vision. Generally, we see him whipping passes as hard as shots.
Right.
That one is just like a quarterback, throwing it to an area, knowing your teammate's going to try to get there.
The officials, Mark Gardanio, Chris Williams, Matt Robinson, will take a look.
Okay, that was a quick one. I'm sure we're going to get a replay. Yeah, you know what? Now the referee
Where
has
does
to be
that
sure.
foot land?
If it's touching at all, so the referee has to decide, is that on the line? And I don't think.
You have to look for green. He does a nice job yanking that right foot back.
But the thing is also, whether he's on or not, the referee has to be convinced he has enough evidence to overturn the first call. This might be the one.
Let's see where that foot lands. He might be outside.
Yeah, and I'd say even if he's not outside, I really don't think there's enough evidence to say that he's touching. You know, and the original call always stands if you can't disprove it. So I think this is going to be a good goal.
Here's one last look at it.
And if the referee comes out and says, uses the phrase inconclusive, and that's what he's saying, I'm not positive if he was in or out, but I can't make a conclusion. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, but I think it's inconclusive. Oh, look at that. That looks.
Wow.
Well, he's made a decision. Referee Chris Williams is on his way out.
And let's see what Chris Williams has to say. A crucial review at the beginning of this first quarter.
Due to inconclusive evidence, we got a good goal.
Yeah.
Now Brian Shanahan knows what he's talking about, folks. Inconclusive goal for the Rush. A goal that was
and that's,
worthy.
And that's the correct call.
2-0 Saskatchewan lead on the road. And this Rochester team, they don't want to fall behind. No team ever wants to fall behind.
No, but
especially against the Rush.
You know, it's all about runs in lacrosse, and you don't want the 2-goal runs to turn into 3, 4-goal runs. Last week, we had a 7-goal run by Saskatchewan.
Kirk again is there. Evan Kirk.
Well, the Knighthawks have taken some outside shots.
He lost the ball. It fell right out of his stick. Rochester trying to capitalize. That is the first error maybe of the series from Evan Kirk, who has stood so tall for the Rush in net. Rochester can't capitalize on it. Unable to cash in, and it's a 3-on-2. Hitting the trailer, feet in front. tic-tac-toe passing. Matthews shut out by Matt Vince, never got the right angle.
Well, big save by Vince, and Eric Fennell will thank him. Eric Fennell played that give and go with Jamieson, just couldn't get a handle on the pass from Jamieson, and he'll be thankful that the Rush didn't score on their transition back up the floor, but Rush comes up the floor with a lot of numbers. They don't necessarily put their offense on the floor. If they got a fast break, the defense, all 5 of them will run up the floor.
A lot of speed, a lot of numbers, as you said, in transition, and they have made teams in the NLL suffer from it all season long. Quick shot, met by Matt Vince. The rebound goes to Rochester, but the pass right back to the Rush. A little extracurriculars after the whistle. Saskatchewan an early 2-0 lead. Will step aside. Rush leading. Game 2, 2-0. Robert Church getting things started as we just get started here in the NLL Final, Game 2.
NLL, it's a crazy, intense sport. No matter what's going on, guys want to win, so your head's always got to be on a swivel because you just get beat up.
I think the best way to describe it is the fastest game on 2 feet.
Any reason you go to any sporting event, it's in box lacrosse.
You know, we're not the typical pro athlete.
Abandoned faithful there, feeling it.
Never in my life have I walked out to a place sold out, 16,000 fans, where it's loud. There's no other feeling like it in the world.
Tell you the chase for the championship will be decided a week from today, June 9th in Saskatoon, 9:30 Eastern Time. Shanny and I will be there. You can catch all the action live on NLL TV and Twitter. And right now, the Rush trying to make sure there will not be a Game 3. With a win, Saskatchewan would win their 3rd championship in the NLL in 4 years. A dynasty in the making for sure. As we wait for play to be back underway here in Rochester, Brian Shanahan, Jay Alter with you. And Shanny, Rochester's fallen in a 2-0 hole to the Rush. How can the Knighthawks punch back here early in this first quarter?
Well, they just got to keep plugging at it. They really haven't done anything offensively. They've taken a lot of outside shots, but they've been easy catches for Evan Kirk.
They go low again. Evan Kirk has met every shot he has faced today. 4 saves. It's another turnover. Up to Matthews, fires one, but it's wide. Mark Matthews had a good look at the cage. Ball back to Rochester. That's how the Rush won Game 1, turning Rochester mistakes and cashing in on the Knighthawks in transition.
Yeah, a little sustained offense might help for Rochester to get this defense to have to work a little bit harder, but they seem to be definitely taking the outside shots. I don't know if that's a strategy, but it hasn't worked so far.
Here's Kyle Jackson, pushed as he tried to wrap around the cage, double team. It's suffocating. Now 3 rusher on him, and it's another turnover for Saskatchewan. They have been dominant on the defensive end.
Oh, they make it look so easy at times. Very athletic, very big, very punishing.
Over to Matthews. Well, not the cleanest of plays, but Rochester will take it all the same. Vince swatted it out. Trying to set up this offense. They have been shut out midway through this first quarter. A 2-0 Rush lead in the NLL Finals, game number 2. Another outside shot misfired. That a deflection from Jamieson. Rochester just has not gotten good looks. Matthews darts in right into the chest of Matt Vince. Right now it's a goalie battle. Both have been so good in game two. Kirk with the answer on the other end. Rochester, a great look in transition, but cannot cash in. They'll keep the ball though with Eric Fennell.
Graham Hosick on the transition. He scored a goal for Rochester last week.
Here's Fennell on the spin. Pass off, darting in, goes low, and Rochester's on the board. Josh Courier off a great feed from Eric Fennell. And boy, is that the answer that the Knighthawks so desperately crave.
Oh, they needed it to get this crowd in, and he makes sure he's not only out of the crease, he's about 4 feet out of the crease. He doesn't want to get close. Nice little fake, and bounces it in for his 3rd playoff goal, and a key goal to get this crowd into the game.
And Rochester wins another face-off. They've won all 4 of those tonight. Jake Withers, the rookie out of Ohio State, has been dominant. Fennell on the assist as well. Another rookie, also coincidentally from Ohio State, who has been excellent in year number 1 here in the league.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the only area that Rochester dominated last week, but if this is a close game, that's when face-offs become so important. If you could dominate in your face-offs in a close game, that has to give you a bit of an edge.
Into Dan Dawson, who is getting to play tonight over the Robert Church. Went low, a lot of contact, but it's met by Vince.
Oh, and Brad Gillies was up the floor on that save. Vince couldn't snag it quickly. Some pretty good defense by Rochester. And that was a hit by Billy D. Smith.
A physical player. Evan Kirk, another save right to the chest. We talked about it pregame. These 2 goaltenders, arguably the 2 best in the league, meeting in this final. They've both been excellent so far in quarter number 1. Looking for Matthews again. 4 white jerseys in there for the Knighthawks. Rochester comes away with it. It's Jake Withers, who's been active early in this game. Takes a shot. That's into the chest of Brett Mitski. And now the rush can move in transition. Saskatchewan had those 2 early goals, but they've cooled off, Shanny.
Now they have some
and
good
now
defense.
Some big physical play. Rochester has met the physicality of Saskatchewan right now.
Yeah, Brad Gillies and Paul Dawson pretty much doing the same thing to Saskatchewan as they've done to his teammates, pressuring them up high. Slow change here for Rochester.
But bailed down by Matt Vince again in transition.
Now you called it, he bailed them out. Rochester was slow to get their defense on there.
That was a concern of the coaching staff headed into game 2. Said had to be better in transition and not turn it over. Looking to tie things up, stoned again by Evan Kirk, who has not made it easy all series for Rochester to score. Matt Vince has really settled into this game. Saskatchewan hasn't scored in 8 minutes. Rochester's had many opportunities to tie it. It has stayed 2-1. That bounces over Evan Kirk's cage. Battle for the loose ball once again. Won by the rush. It leads to a transition. Sent wide. Bounces out of play. 4 minutes left to the first quarter clock. And we will step aside. We haven't had goals in the first quarter, but I'll tell you what, Shanny, You think it's a finals game? We've had physicality both ends of the floor, and we're just getting started.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
Think you've got what it takes to compete with Curtis Dixon, to shut down Lyle Thompson, and to hang with Tom Schreiber? Show your stuff in front of GMs, coaches, and scouts at the 2018 National Lacrosse League Combine in Dallas, Texas on July 8th. This could be your chance to play in the big leagues.
Minutes left in the first quarter. Rush with a road lead, 2-1. Let's check in with the Rush sideline. Head coach Derek Keenan standing by with Ashley Docking.
Coach, they were concerned in the last game that they didn't get to the middle of the floor enough to generate scoring opportunities. Do you think that you've controlled that aspect of their game so far?
So far, I think pretty good. Courier got a nice goal there, slipped underneath, but it's pretty good. I mean, I think we're playing at the tempo we want. Got to hit the net, though. We've missed numerous opportunities, both in transition, 5-on-5. We're just missing the net. So we've got to shoot the ball a little bit better, but I like the pace we're playing, and we can keep this up for a while. We should be in good shape.
One of the things that we learned pre-game was that Dan Dawson was going to be back in the game against his old team. He said it's just lacrosse. It doesn't matter who you're playing or where you're playing, but there has to be a little sentimentality to that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been a great player as a player, one of the greatest this league has ever seen, and he's bringing it tonight. He's already clearing some space for our guys, and he'll be a factor out there.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
And thank you, Ashley. Getting a look at Derek Keenan. He knows what it takes to win an NLL championship. He's done it 3 times. What did you think of what he had to say, Shannon?
Oh, I agree with the shooting assessment of his team. They've had a lot of chances on transition, have missed the net. But a couple of great coaches out there, and one of the things he said to us, he says Rochester will adjust to us because they've got great coaches.
They certainly have so far after losing game 1 16-9. They have punched back but still trailing a goal. Trying to tie things up. Evan Kirk there again. Besides being beaten by Josh Courier, he has been perfect tonight in net for Saskatchewan.
Well, they keep going for the outside shots. They haven't beat them on any of those yet. I don't know if they're trying to wear them down.
Mark Matthews has had a couple of early looks, doesn't have a goal to show for it yet. Offensive foul called against Matthews.
That was an illegal pick by Jeff Schattler.
Rochester cannot capitalize, though. This game has been a 2-1 for, it feels like, forever. Battle for the loose ball. Rochester's got it.
And really, defensively, Rochester's doing a pretty good game. You know, they're double teaming the Saskatchewan players on offense when they don't have help.
Here's Kyle Jackson. Swings it around. 8 seconds to shoot. Austin Shanks fires it, but it's wide of the cage again. 2 seconds and 1. A shot clock violation will give the ball right back to the Rush. 2:15 to play, and still hanging on to that 2-1 advantage. Ben McIntosh passes it over. Here's Ryan Keenan, right back to McIntosh. Met by Vince again. This has just turned into Vince against Kirk. The 2 goalies stealing the show in game 2 in this first quarter.
Yeah, that first goal by Church looked like
And we're tied at 2. Rochester has knotted things up. Hosick in transition.
Well, Graham Hosick scored a big goal early last week, and this one he actually was going to draw a penalty, but it doesn't matter because he scores the goal anyhow to tie it up. This is the guy who I think is going to win the Defender of the Year in the NLL this year, but he's got some great transition ability as well.
Sometimes the best defenders can give you a little offense as well, Shanny. And in a crucial game like this, Graham Hosick doing just that. We are tied at 2, under a minute and a half to play in this first quarter. Saskatchewan has not scored since there was 12 minutes and 30 seconds left in this first quarter. This talented of a team, you rarely shut them out for that long.
You're right. These two teams are two of the better defensive teams in the NLL.
And once again, Matt Vince going low. That was a comfortable save. 50 seconds left in the opening quarter.
And that was his old buddy Dan Dawson taking that shot.
Dawson started the season a teammate of Matt Vince and now traded to Saskatchewan at the end of February. And in the lineup today, off the wall, lost the handle, and it's in! Eric Fennell in perfect position, and Rochester leads for the first time tonight.
And sometimes you gotta get a bounce, and that's what Rochester got there. Watch this, a couple of bounces, goes off a Rush player right to Courier. The save is made, but watch where it comes to eventually. This looks like the big save, but Fennell the right spot. Rebound just lands in his stick, and it's the quick shot before Kirk can even realize where the ball is. You see a big smile on Eric Fennell's face. He knows he's a bit lucky that that ball just came to him. Sometimes you gotta work your butt off to get a goal. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time.
Rochester wins the face-off. Hosick passes off. That hit iron and took a big bounce off Evan Kirk's cage. 20 seconds left in this first quarter. Rush trying to equalize at 3. Kirk's been pulled off, giving the Rush a man advantage here. Shot clock turned off. 10 seconds left. Keenan, and we're knotted at 3. Ryan Keenan with 3.2 seconds left in the opening quarter delivers a big-time goal on the road for the Rush.
All kinds of room here. I know it was a 6-on-5, but they got to come out and challenge Keenan. Keenan, he's looking to pass and then realizes, I got to step in. Nobody's taking me out here. Steps in and ties it up late in the first quarter.
Mike Messenger has come on to take the face-off, as Jake Withers has beaten Jeremy Thompson on every single face-off so far, Shanny. So Derek Keenan changing things up. A little pushing and shoving as well on.
Somebody's getting a penalty here.
Withers after.
And I think it's Withers. I'm gonna guess that this is a dead ball play, meaning that there was a hit after the whistle
well, let's
had
see
gone.
if we can take a look at what happened. Certainly saw the retaliation, which was Thompson hitting Withers, but it's Withers in the box.
I thought Withers won the face-off, and I don't know if he was called for going early, but this might be that he didn't put the ball down when he should have. I'm guessing that's what the call is, yes. Because I didn't see Withers hit any, but watch here. I think the whistle had gone, but he didn't want to put the ball down, so he'll probably get delay a game on that call. Couple seconds left. They're going to get a shot too.
And the man taking it is Dan Dawson.
Well, they just want to try to get one shot. You might see Dawson take the long range.
They got this shot. No good though, and that'll do it for the first 15 minutes. We are tied at 3. Saskatchewan getting Ryan Keenan on the board to get the equalizer. A fun game number 2 just getting started. Saskatchewan and Rochester were tied in the NLL Finals.
Last season, we launched NLL TV. It marked the first time that you could catch the fastest game on 2 feet from anywhere.
Thompson backhander scores! Wow!
This season, it's back and better than ever. Just pick your package and you're good to go.
Don't get caught in the dark. Watch the National Lacrosse League live from your laptop, tablet, cell phone, and more. Get all the action, all the time.
It's a 3-3 tie here at Blue Cross Arena in Rochester. And one of the men that we've been talking about a little bit during the first quarter of this broadcast is Dan Dawson. Now, he's a very familiar face here in Rochester, spending 5 seasons before getting traded this year, his 6th. And I talked to him before the game and asked if there is a little bit of emotion coming back here and playing his old team. And quite frankly, he said no. It doesn't matter where you play, who you're playing for, everyone's chasing the same thing, and it's the NLL Cup. I also asked him, his brother's on the other team, if there's any trickery, trying to get any inside information, and he said absolutely not. We don't even talk about the game. So take that for what you will, Jay and Shani.
Well, I believe the second part. I don't believe the first part where he says there's no emotional meaning to this game. I know he wants to win a championship, but you know, you played some games, a lot of games here. You won a couple of championships. I think there's got to be a little bit of extra emotion being here, but yeah, I believe the part about the brothers. I think they respect each other too much.
And he won those cups in 2013 and in 2014.
MVP 2014.
And Shani, you know, when they made that acquisition from Rochester in February, it was not just so you could bring a legend in and kind of a token veteran. Derek Keenan told us he expected him to produce, and he gets an opportunity to do it once again on the big stage and add to that legendary career.
Yeah, legendary. He was with Derek Keenan in Portland when he lost in the finals to Buffalo. I believe he scored 34 points in 3 games in those playoffs.
The rusher on the power play will remind you. Jake Withers, a delay of game penalty. Still a minute and 38 seconds on that power play, and Rochester, to go to even strength, has pulled their goalie, and it pays off. The Knighthawks taking a risk. Oh, what a play.
Not really a risk there, Jay. There was a delayed penalty on the play. I don't know if it was for a bad change or what, but they pulled their goalie knowing they were safe, but they got the first man off.
And it was Austin Shanks who put it in. The rookie adds to the phenomenal first season he's having.
Yeah, you know, all these rookies on this team have contributed. Fennell scored. Withers is winning face-off. Shanks gets a goal here. Last week he had a number of chances like that, and he couldn't cash them in. But this time he makes no mistakes, and Austin Shanks has had a pretty good playoff so far. That's his 8th goal.
And we'll never know what that penalty would have been waved off with the goal. So the rush, technically not a shorthanded goal because Vince was out. But they score with Withers still in the penalty box.
And there's another penalty being taken, and watch, Vince is coming off again.
That time Rochester can't cash in, but they will get the penalty.
This time it'll be a slash. I think it was Soroketti.
Very uncharacteristic of the rush here.
Yeah, generally they're a very disciplined team. That was just standing right in front of the referee. We're going to have a look at this. Watch on the top of your screen. I don't think it was the first play. That was actually after the penalty had already been called. But Soroketti had been giving it to the Rochester players.
Well, I would have told you entering the second quarter with a man-up advantage on the power play, you think the momentum would be with the Rush. But Rochester has really taken the momentum.
Well, surprisingly, Saskatchewan wasn't good on the power play last week. They were 1 for 7. Now, I have to say, they weren't that bad. The 1 for 7, you got to remember there was 4 penalties late in the game where I don't think they really tried to score.
Batted away, and now Rochester's got numbers. Here comes the Knighthawks. 3-on-2. Couldn't get a shot off. Then there it was, but Kirk comfortable with it.
And a bit of a pick play by the referee.
Yeah.
Hosick ran into the referee, and that knocked the ball out of his stick. Unfortunate for him.
Withers is out of the cage, so now it's a 1-minute power play opportunity for the Knighthawks.
And number 17, Church, is a guy you always have to be careful of, even when he's shorthanded. In fact, just about everybody on the floor here is pretty dangerous.
Reset the shot clock. Very important for the Rush as they try and kill off this power play.
And that's huge when you're shorthanded if you can get the late shot and retrieve the rebound. And great job by Saskatchewan. They'll look to eat up some clock before they take it to the net or try for another late shot and potential rebound.
Going low, the bouncer, Matt Vince, is there. 20 seconds left on the power play for Rochester. Knighthawks with that 1-goal lead, 4-3 in a game they must win to keep their season alive and force a Game 3 back in Saskatchewan.
Now you watch, Rochester will not want to take a late shot in the power play because they know that man is about to step on Soroketti.
We're back to even strength. 2 seconds and 1 left on the timer. A shot clock violation. And for the first time in this second quarter, we're back to even strength on both sides. It was Jake Withers who started the quarter in the box. Soroketti joined him, and now we're back to even. The Rush down a goal, trying to equalize here. Trying for that feed in front to Ryan Keenan. 8 seconds left on the timer. A bullet. Once again, Matt Vince. Rochester has really responded here at home after going down 2-0.
They've definitely really settled into this game.
A well-deserved 1-goal lead, 4-3. Almost another goal. Great pass by Cody Jamieson. Nobody there on the other end. And another late change. Once again, bailed out by Matt Vince. He's doing it all for Rochester right now.
I think the Rochester coaches are going to want to talk to the offense about picking up the speed to their bench. I don't think they realize how fast Cornwall is coming up the floor. Rochester offense just seemed to be cruising to the bench.
Here's Kyle Jackson. A lot of contact. That goes against Rochester. That changed better, and it shoves off the transition, and even better, it leads to a turnover.
That's why he would be my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. That's one of the reasons.
Hosick again, he's got a goal already today. A couple of cost turnovers, including that one. That's a good pick, Shanny. He's making you look smart in this first half, that's for sure. And the bouncer got a piece of Kirk, but goes in. Rochester in front by 2, and it's the second goal of the game for Josh Courier.
A beautiful give and go. Courier gets it up high, puts it in the corner, goes hard to the net. Pass comes back, and right between the legs. I don't know if it went straight in or not.
Looks
yeah,
like
I believe it did go straight in. Took a while for everyone to react. The ball was kind of hidden. And in a game of momentum, Rochester has stolen it.
It's a 5-3 Knighthawks lead here at home. And they're on a 5-1 run since the opening 3.5 minutes of this game, where Saskatchewan had 2 goals. A whistle there after the Evan Kirk save. We will step aside. Rochester, their backs against the wall. They've talked about it leading into game 2, and they are playing some really good lacrosse. A 5-3 lead in the second quarter.
Show your stuff in front of GMs, coaches, and scouts at the 2018 National Lacrosse League Combine in San Diego on August 11th. This could be your chance to play in the big leagues.
A 5-1 run for Rochester in this quarter and the last little while. I'm here with Coach Hazens. Coach, before the game, you said that you didn't like the feet from your team in game 1 and that their sticks were off. How would you rate those attributes so far this game?
So far, so good. Like I say, we're keeping it pretty simple, but the biggest thing is that our feet are moving, and that's the biggest thing for us here tonight.
Vino's been so good for you guys again, giving everyone so much confidence. Are you guys doing enough defensively to help him out?
We do what we do, and V does what he does. So right now it's working. So we'll that's what we expected V to, though, right? So we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
And then quickly, transition game. It was something that staggered and was a bit stagnant last game. Are you happy with the performance so far?
Yeah, again, we're moving our feet all over the floor tonight. So that's what we need, and that's what we want.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, back to you.
Thanks, Ashley, and thanks to Coach Hazen. Shanny, he's got to be happy with the hustle statistics.
Well, he said, how many times he say moving their feet? And I'll tell you, moving their feet is why they've got loose balls, 32-20 for Rochester so far this game. Last week, it was 80-55 for Saskatchewan on the loose ball battle.
And Saskatchewan has gone ice cold on the offensive end. Rochester with 5 goals, Saskatchewan just 1. And another delayed penalty. Austin Shank scored on this earlier in the quarter. The second quarter has belonged to Rochester, trying to add to it. Kirk with a stop, and here comes the penalty.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, it's not the type of game you expect from Saskatchewan, taking penalty after penalty. I think this one was for a bad change, because Marty Dinsdale is serving it, and he's there in home. 2 minutes for illegal substitution. Somebody came off the bench a little too early.
It was a shorthanded goal a week ago from Robert Church that gave Saskatchewan the momentum. Rush fans will hope for the same here in the second quarter. Rochester trying to double up the rush and cash in on the power play. Jameson stoned by Kirk. Another late change. Almost a shorthanded goal, but Matt Vince was there again. He has owned the rush in transition. And ball back to the Knighthawks.
He sure has. You know, the Rush scored 2 early goals in this game, and you know, from that point on, it's been 5-1 for Rochester.
Kyle Jackson tried to find the window. Kirk was there. Now he's out of his cage for the loose ball, and a penalty called on a shove.
Yeah, I don't think they're calling a penalty. They're just calling
just
a turnover.
foul. Yep, it goes back to Rochester. No time in the box there for that hit. About a minute left in the power play. That off the helmet of Kirk.
Yeah, Rochester will get the ball back as it went out of bounds off of Kirk. Cody Jamieson scored a goal on a shot similar to that one. He's trying to do the same thing.
They get it to Jamieson, who's hoisted 3 cups in Rochester. That time passes off. Kirk not fooled. Another save for Evan Kirk. 45 seconds left in that Rochester power play.
Well, Kirk has been bringing his best on this power play for Rochester.
Dan Dawson controls it for the Rush. 10 seconds left on the timer. 30 seconds left on the power play. Ball's kicked, it's a foot race. 2 seconds left and thrown up. Rochester has the ball back. 15 seconds left with the extra man.
And again, with the man ready to come out of the box, Rochester will probably hold on to that ball. They don't want a rebound coming out just as he steps out of the penalty box.
And a goal! Cody Jamieson! Rear back and fire! And the Knighthawks take a 6-3 lead through Jamieson.
And a little bit dangerous because Dinsdale had just coming out of the box. If this was a save, he was halfway up the floor, but Jamieson pretty confident in his shot. He sells far side, goes short side, and puts it in for his first goal of this game.
Tucked it away beautifully for his 5th playoff goal. He had 5 assists last week in Game 1 in Saskatchewan. And now a goal to his name tonight. Especially with Captain Sid Smith out, the key defenseman for Rochester, they will lean on Jamieson to be a leader on and off the floor.
And what an amazing job by Withers on that faceoff. Even with the crowd around him, he picks up that ball cleanly and gets out of the crowd in a nice scoring chance.
He has really made an impact in his first season in the league at the faceoff. How about that for a little trickery, and it leads to a goal. Everything coming up Rochester, and it's a hat trick for Josh Courier.
Oh, he got fortunate there, and unfortunately for Jeff Cornwall, Cornwall twisted his ankle or something, and Courier, when he realizes it, Cornwall just goes down. That was a strange play. And Courier just steps in as far as they let him go and eventually puts it in as Cornwall, oh my, he hobbles off to the bench after that. But nobody steps out on him. I'm surprised that Hossack stood his ground there instead of charging out, forcing the play.
Josh Courier has as many goals as the entire Rush team does. 3-3 in that category. Rochester leading 7-3. We'll remind you the Rush led this game 2-0. Since then, it's a 7-1 Knighthawks run. And they've got the ball looking for more.
And currently on a 4-goal run. Last week, Rochester was never able to score more than 2 in a row.
Turnover from the Knighthawks. Can't come up with the trailer. Corbeil was looking for it. Still loose and picked up by the Rush. 15 seconds on the timer. Shatler with the pass and a goal. That is a bullet from Ben McIntosh.
Oh, it's a nice shot, but it's one that Vince would like to have back, and it's one that the Rush desperately needed. Catches Vince leaning the wrong way, puts it up in the top corner, And after 4 in a row and a long spell where the Rush had not scored, they needed a bit of a break, and they got that with McIntosh's 6th goal of the playoffs.
Number 1 overall pick in 2014 has made a name for himself in his 4 years with Saskatchewan. 46 goals, 34 assists in the regular season. He's lifted 2 cups and with the Rush as well.
Yeah, and he's known nothing but making it to the finals.
Right. All 4 years they have made it to the finals. Evan Kirk, a big-time save. Rush looking for momentum. Play will stop as the net was moved off its line.
I don't know if we're getting a penalty on the play here. Cody Jamieson makes a nice pass. Joe Rezateris.
Yeah, there is a penalty coming.
Yep. And Kyle Rubish is going to the penalty box, and I think it's just him alone.
We'll stop the action. It's a 7-4 Rochester lead in the Knighthawks on the power play when we come back.
It's what we've all been waiting for.
NLL Productions presents The Box with Ashley Docking and Tyson Geik. A quick hitting who, where, what, when, and why that previews every single matchup in the National Lacrosse League.
Not many teams could sustain an offensive onslaught like that.
They're both shooters and scorers, but these are possession men.
Shooting from the outside, low percentage chances.
Check those out. We're all above 500.
No.
The Box. Look for it on NLL TV.
What drives you to find your inner purpose? Play with purpose.
Back here at Blue Cross Arena, 7-4 the home team. Rochester Knighthawks leading 7-4. It's game 2 of the NLL Finals. They want to force a game 3, and you can get all your latest news and updates from around the league by following NLL on Twitter and Instagram at NLL. And I'm telling you, Shanny, we're hearing, as always, busy offseason in the NLL. 2 expansion teams coming. Maybe some more news. We'll chat with the commissioner in just a few minutes. And you want to stay tuned all offseason and all season with NLL Social.
Oh, a lot of exciting things. With Philadelphia Wings back next year. The winningest franchise in the NLL, along with the Toronto Rock. Philadelphia Wings won 6 championships. Rochester right behind them with 5. They'd like to make that 6 next week.
And right now, playing the part, under 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and Rochester back on the power play and a 3-goal lead. Jamieson scored right after the last power play expired. They go to Cody again, that time passing. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Jamieson, he is the go-to guy on offense. That one whizzes by Kirk. 3 seconds and bounced out of play. And the Rush are known for a shorthanded goal or 2. Boy, can they use one, trailing by 3 on the road.
Oh, a lot of dangerous bodies on the floor here. Church, Matthews, Shatler, Dinsdale, these guys can all score.
They get it to Church, who's been quiet after he scored the opener in this game. Swim dodge, bounce pass, off the top of the bar, wow. Laying out was Matt Vince.
Yeah, that was a strange bounce. Didn't look like a dangerous shot, but that came close to finding its way into the net.
After the initial stop, that ball had a life of its own. Now back on the Rochester power play. Jamieson again passing off a bullet. Big time bounce off the wall. Vince scurries out of his cage to collect it.
A smart play by Vince. He wants to make sure there's no breakaway. That would have been called over and back. but the referee waits to see if Saskatchewan has a chance to pick it up to get the breakaway. Vince steps out, makes sure that doesn't happen. Let's watch this shot here. Oh my. I don't know if that hit the post a couple of times, but it hit the bar up top. Saskatchewan serving their third straight penalty of the game with Kyle Rubish in the box.
Shot clock expires, luckily for the Rush. The penalty set to expire as well. Back to even strength. Jamieson, risky pass across the floor.
Well, looks like Cornwall's all right.
McIntosh creeping. Vince is there again. How does he do it? Matt Vince is everywhere to keep the Rush out. In transition, Rochester, no! Evan Kirk is there. Again, and that time it goes. Rochester doubling up Saskatchewan 8-4. Oh, what a second quarter it's been for the Knighthawks.
Great job. Fennell puts it behind the net. Vitarelli sneaks in front. Bang, bang, and Vitarelli, where he gets the majority of his career goals, right in front of the crease. And even though they didn't score in the power play, that's the second time they've scored just a few seconds after the power play.
Here's another look. Yeah, it was the pass from behind the cage.
But a great effort by Fennell to get that ball. Move it quickly behind the net as Vitarelli's cutting in front of the net. Who is that behind the net? That's Paul Dawson. I was trying to figure out who was making that pass, and he was the last guy I expected to be behind the other team's net, the big defensive player, Paul Dawson. But what a quick pass by the great big defender, Paul Dawson. That's his second assist of the game. 6'5", 230 pounds. Brother of Dan. Another face-off win.
And it was beautifully poked out. A great opportunity, but Evan Kirk there. 2 minutes remaining in this second quarter.
The score could be a little worse if not for Evan Kirk.
He's been excellent again after 35 saves in game one. Matt Vince has been even better. A brick wall has held the Rush to just 4 goals in this first half. And we're almost through with it. McIntosh again, it whizzes wide. And the shot clock has expired. Right back to Rochester with an 8-4 lead. Shanny, what is it about Rochester tonight that's so different from game one?
Well, they're playing good defense. They played good defense last week, but I think after the first 5 minutes or so, they've settled down. They're not giving the transition opportunities to Saskatchewan that they did last week, but it's the offense. It's Rochester's offense that is different this week.
They've scored nearly as many goals as they had all game. Last week only scored 9.
9 last week, 8 so far.
1 minute remaining. Rush trying to get some momentum. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Out of time. Yeah, I agree with you. This Rochester defense has been so impressive. Especially when you consider that they're without their captain, Sid Smith, back there on the back line as well.
Be interesting. Will they try to take the early shot? Yes, they do, but it doesn't get through. This is what they were hoping to do, and they kind of succeeded, and they're making sure that Saskatchewan got the ball with more than 30 seconds left.
Right.
Now, I think it was about, by the time they called the timeout, it looks like there's 27 and a half seconds left in the corner, 27 seconds left in the shot clock, so I think Saskatchewan will be safe to pull their goalie here. Rochester was hoping to take the early shot so that Saskatchewan would get the ball and not have a chance to pull their goalie.
Rochester has really stepped up the physicality. Back and forth all night, Shanny.
Yeah, there's a big hit by Billy D. Smith. There you watch the double team as two guys all over, and you know Saskatchewan's been just as physical too. It's a physical game, shouldn't be surprised.
And Shanny, what would you say it is about the Rush tonight? So talented all season on the offensive end, and they have just been a little off tonight.
Well, you know, maybe we're seeing what Saskatchewan and Rochester fans saw when these two teams met in the regular season.
Right.
Rochester was the better team in both those games. Maybe they've getting their confidence back. I think they were a little bit shocked by how aggressive the defense was Saskatchewan last week, and they've made an adjustment and done a good job of it.
Yeah, the Rush 14-4 in the regular season, 2 of the 4 losses to Rochester. Looking for a goal right at the end of the half, and kept out again by Matt Vince. And he is getting the applause of a hero's welcome at the end of this second quarter.
And he deserves it.
Everybody to their feet for the veteran goaltender, Matt Vince. An 8-4 advantage.
28 shots for Rochester, 24 for Saskatchewan. Much different than it was last week where the Rush dominated the shots, dominated the loose ball. Saskatchewan's winning that battle too, 44-33.
Rochester, a deserved lead, 8-4. And Ashley Docking waiting for Josh Courier, who had 3 goals. She is with Josh now, and we send it down to Ashley as Josh carries in an 8-4 lead to halftime.
Josh was just trying to sneak away from you, but I got him just in time. Sir, let's start with the fact that you're killing it on offense. Your first playoff hat trick. That has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels good. The fact that we have them at 4 at half just shows a lot for our defense, and Wizzy's winning all the draws, so they're making it easy for the O.
Earlier today, Matt Vince told me that he felt like the team came into game 1 a little bit complacent and almost feeling like Sask was the underdog. Do you feel like that mentality shift for game 2?
All year we've been having the same mentality, and it's just sticking to our game plan, and even after the loss, we're going to stick to our game plan, and I think we've been doing it so far tonight.
This game's been getting quite physical. Do you think that plays more into your hand or theirs?
They might have the size advantage, but we got a lot of heart on our team, a lot of tough guys, so I'm okay with it.
A lot of heart and tenacity. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, guys, just before I send it back to you, earlier today I was talking to Derek Keenan, and he said he remembered the 2012 finals, Sask versus Rochester. Well, the Rush, excuse me, not Sask. They were in Edmonton. But he said at halftime it was 5-1 for the Rush, and they were worried that it wasn't going to be enough. Rochester ended up winning that. So despite this score, I don't think that Rochester, because Sask is such a good team, is all that comfortable, guys.
Great point, Ashley. Certainly a lot of lacrosse left to be played. We'll be back with the commissioner, Nick Savikiewicz, when we are back. Rochester 8, Saskatchewan 4. We've got a good one cooking. Game 2 of the NLL Finals.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour command low.
In the fourth frame of Game 1 of the NLL Finals, Rochester's Austin Shanks scores on Evan Kirk, a diving shot from the left side of the crease. However, the goal was waved off by official Matt Garrison, who sees Shanks' right foot on the crease line upon takeoff. Garrison's ruling was confirmed on Rochester's challenge, and the no-goal call was upheld. This is Honig's Call of the Week.
My name is Curtis Dixon. I am an offensive player for the Calgary Roughnecks.
Chili onto the bench. Dixon shoots and scores!
As soon as I started using the warp, my game has, been as good, if not even better, than it was before I was using it at the start of the season. You don't lead the league in goal scoring for no reason without having a proper stick and having success with that. So I'm absolutely happy with my performance so far, and I know it's only going to go up from here.
Back here in Rochester, 30 minutes down and 30 to go. The Knighthawks doubling up the Saskatchewan Rush 8-4. And we've got a treat here at halftime. The NLL Commissioner, Nick Sakevich. Nick, thanks for spending some time with us here at the half. And first, want to congratulate you on what's been a terrific 2017-2018 season, including tonight's game, which has been phenomenal for both fans here and watching on our feed.
Yeah, it really has been, Jay, and thanks for having me on. We got a lot of positive things to talk about these days.
And I want to get right to that. First, in just a couple of minutes, you'll be down there doing the coin toss between the two expansion teams, Philadelphia and San Diego. How excited are you to bring two more teams, two more cities into the NLL?
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, the league hasn't expanded in quite a while, and to have Joe Tsai, one of the most renowned businessmen in the world, come and own our team in San Diego, and of course Comcast, Spectacor, and the Flyers organization taking over Philly and bringing that team. We're really excited about it, and we've got more coming. It's a good time to be in the NLL.
So for those that don't know, can you take us through what's going to happen in a few minutes with the coin toss?
Yeah, sure. So by the rules of our game, when there are more than one team, new team coming into the league, we do a coin toss to determine which team selects first in the entry draft and the expansion draft, which is coming up in July.
So the winner of the coin toss will get either the entry or the expansion. That's up to them.
That's their choice.
Loser, if you will,
right,
of the coin toss gets the first pick in the draft that the other team decides not to go for.
That's correct.
And in that entry draft, we'll have the NLL Combine this summer, which is something you've brought to really make this a year-round sport that people can follow even when there's games, not every weekend.
Yeah, so we announced 5 combines around the continent, some in Canada, some in the U.S., and they're really designed to find the next great lacrosse players. We're expanding our league. We're going to need more players. We're going to need more American players to come into the box game, and it's very important. So we're doing one in San Diego, one in Vancouver, Toronto, one in Philly, and one in Dallas.
And you mentioned American players. Rochester is here for Rochester, and a 100-point scorer who's from New York. So there is American talent that can contribute to the NLL. I know you've got to run down to do the coin toss, but last question for the commish. How much excitement is there building? Do you feel like this was a momentum year that you can carry into next season, especially with 2 teams coming and maybe some more changes that we'll see in the offseason?
This year was big. With landing San Diego and Philly, we have more coming. It's going to be quite an eventful summer of announcements.
That's a pretty good tease.
Exciting time to be in the NLL. We will be a 14-team league very soon, and on our way to 30 teams eventually. And we're really excited about the quality of the owners we're bringing into the league, and just the resources that they have to build this league into what it should be, which is one of the top 5.
Yeah, it's already so exciting here in 2018. We've got a great finals between Saskatchewan and Rochester, but you hear the commissioner, he says 30 teams coming to the NLL. It's a great vision, and it's already well underway. Thanks for spending some time. And
thanks, Drew.
Are you the one flipping the coin?
I'm flipping the coin.
Oh,
yep.
We got to get that thumb ready.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
for
Nick.
having me on.
We'll have the coin toss right when we come back.
Last season, we launched NLL TV. It marked the first time that you could catch the fastest game on 2 feet from anywhere.
Dumped it backhander scores! Wow!
This season, it's back and better than ever. Just pick your package and you're good to go.
Don't get caught in the dark. Watch the National Lacrosse League live from your laptop, tablet, cell phone, and more. Get all the action, all the time.
Jameson says we're not done yet.
Jammer, in my honest opinion, I don't say I'm too cocky. He's the best player in this league.
There's certainly an argument to be made for the 3-time Champions Cup winner, Cody Jamieson, who's a pair of wins away from his 4th NLL title and first since the 2014 season. But his road back to the finals wasn't the easiest. Jamieson missed all but a single quarter of a game in the 2017 season due to a knee injury and was forced to undergo reconstructive knee surgery. His absence was felt as the Knighthawks went on to miss the postseason for the 2nd consecutive year.
Yeah, you don't want to get injured at any time, but having a season-ending injury was, it was heartbreaking. These are all my good friends, and to be standing there helpless, basically, it didn't feel good.
Cross floor feed, Jamieson shoots, he scores! It's been 19 months between Cody Jamieson's last 2 goals.
Jamieson's reintegration into the Knighthawks lineup this season reignited the team's offense. Rochester went from being dead last in the NLL in goals for last season to top 3 this season.
It's like Jammer coming off that injury took a little bit of time, and we knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I think he was hoping it wouldn't happen this way, but he just kept getting better for us each night as well, and when he's good, everybody on the floor around him is better.
And one player who can echo that sentiment is Joe Reziteritz. While he and Jamieson have played together for a number of years, the two emerged as one of the NLL's hottest dynamic duos this season. Thanks to Jamieson, hard work, and some moving pieces on the Knighthawks, Reziteritz went on to not only shatter his career highs, but also set a point-scoring record by an American-born player.
This is my 4th season with Cody, and I owe a lot to him for, growing as a player, for having confidence in me since I got here. So I owe a lot of my success, most of my success to Jammer. So
It started right in October when he came into camp. He came into camp fresh and strong, and just worked through it. Any doubts in his mind, and he just kept plugging away. And like I say, once the one started falling and he started getting more, he just kept rolling.
I don't want to say he was overshadowed, but when you got a guy like Dan Dawson on the right side for as long as we did, and he played under him, and he definitely learned a lot from Dan. But since Dan's been away from our team, Joey Rez has really stepped his game up and been that leader and been that focal point on the right side.
The two offensive superstars who combined for a whopping 189 points during the regular season and 10 points during Game 1 of the NLL Finals will both need to continue to be red hot if the Knighthawks want to push this series to 3. For NLL TV, I'm Tyson Geik. NLL Relax, presented by New Balance, the brand new weekly recap show filled with insight.
Their 3 rookies are making significant contributions.
Analysis.
That could change the complete dynamic of the team.
Hot takes. Brutal to start the season. And a little personality.
So glad that you guys could join us on this Monday evening.
Wait. I gotta clear something up here.
Like
what is that?
Ball.
Sure.
Name drop.
Throw it up.
Drop. Ding.
Yeah. Throw the counter up. Throw it up.
It.
Thank you. Name drop.
Friend of the program.
Friend of the program.
Yeah.
The star of our show, Pat Gregoire, ladies and gentlemen.
Stop.
You guys got good hair today, I must say.
Just today?
Just today?
Yeah. You're trying to get the first word too?
You started with
Can I do my job?
Yikes.
Okay, a lot of personality. Don't miss it. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, only on Facebook Watch.
creation of the expansion, Team Coin Toss.
Well, fans, a very exciting moment right now. The National Lacrosse League will go from 9 teams to 11 next season as the San Diego Seals and Philadelphia Wings will join the National Lacrosse League. I'm honored to be joined now by Commissioner Nick Zakevich. We have Assistant General Manager of the Philadelphia Wings, Landon Miller, and of the San Diego Seals, Head Coach and General Manager, Patrick Merrill. Right now, the expansion draft coin toss is going to go down. Commissioner Nick Zakevich has this coin. He's going to flip it, and the winner gets to choose if they want first in the NLL entry draft or first in the expansion draft. Nick, you ready?
We're ready.
Ready to go? Here we go.
All right, men.
The coin has been flipped. The winner is the San Diego Seals. Patrick Merrill, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very excited.
Have you given any thought to who you're going to select with this first pick?
No, it's going to be a very deep draft, and there's a lot of great choices at the top of that list. And we're just looking for someone that's going to be a great fit for our team, our fans, and our city in San Diego. We're excited.
So is it going to be first pick in the expansion draft or first pick in the entry draft?
It's going to be in the entry draft.
First pick in the NLL entry draft for the San Diego Seals. You have heard it here. Landon, that means you have first pick in the expansion draft. Have you given a thought to who you're going to select with that first pick?
There's going to be a lot of guys available in the expansion draft. We're going to have some very seasoned professional guys, a lot of experience to pick from, so we'll be excited and we'll be ready.
Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Going to be two very hot players selected in that expansion draft and entry draft. We'll send it to the second half of Game 2 of the NLL Finals. Thank you.
Awesome stuff there at halftime. Brian Shanahan, Jay Alter with you, ready for second half action. Rochester doubling up Saskatchewan 8-4. Shanny, before we get to the game action, real neat idea by the NLL to bring both teams to the final and flip a coin for the first pick in the entry draft.
And that's great. So what they had was whoever won that decided whether they wanted the first pick in the entry or the first pick in the expansion. And a lot of people were debating whether it was better to get the expansion or entry. My vote was entry, and Patrick Merrill agreed with me. He's taking the first pick in the entry draft. It is deep. There are some players, potential superstars available. We talked about Cloutier, Connor Robinson, possibly Austin Stotts if he decides to become available. That should be pretty interesting. And Patrick Merrill has a history of two of those three guys, having coached them in junior or at the Hill Academy.
And we have seen how people can come in and make an instant impact to this league. On cue, Jake Withers, a rookie for Rochester, who was picked in the entry draft, wins the face-off. And
well, look at this Rochester game right here. We got Withers, as you said. Fennell has scored a couple assists. Shanks has got 4 points in the last 5 goals. Another rookie.
Shanks right on cue, almost made Shanny sound really smart. Fennell on the rebound, all three of those guys touching the ball on that possession, but don't get a goal to show for it.
Well, I'm telling you, those three guys, the Ohio State boys, if you want to call them, all three of them play for Ohio State last year. The beginning of the year, these guys were not in the lineup every game, but they've played so well this season. That's the reason they were able to trade a guy like Dan Dawson, because of how well the rookies have played, particularly those three guys.
Shot, first one of this second half for Saskatchewan, and it's met by Vince and shoved away.
And Billy D. Smith strong.
Somehow able to escape, feed in front, Church sent it over. Another rebound for Saskatchewan. That's 2 on this possession for the Rush.
And those are big.
That one off Billy D. Smith. Here's Keenan. He's got a goal to his name. Goes low. Wow. Mad Vince again.
Great save by Vince, but a great possession for Saskatchewan against a tired Rochester defense now.
Trying to wear them down and cash in on this attack. In the crease, wouldn't have counted anyway, but it was off the pipe.
Pretty nonetheless, but yes, the referee called it a crease call.
You mentioned the trio of rookies from Ohio State, Shanny. They made it to the college lacrosse final with the Buckeyes a year ago. They lost. Now getting a taste of the professional league in the NLL for the first time this year. Boom, they're back in the final, trying to win it and stave off elimination.
Yeah, they don't want to be runners-up 2 years in a row.
Lucky for them, it's best of 3 and not one and done like the college game in the States. Almost another goal for Rochester. Evan Kirk matching Matt Vince in what's been 2 goalies at their very best.
Well, some good saves by Kirk to start this half, but Shanks is getting himself open.
Really is. Cutting in front, never got a clean look at it, and it's right back to Rochester with Hosick.
Hosick was pressured a bit there, almost ran into his own crease. That's why he threw the ball kind of desperately.
Shatler drew the foul for Saskatchewan. They can set up the attack. Here's Mark Matthews. He has been awfully quiet today given his pedigree.
Well, it's been a good start for Saskatchewan. They're getting multiple possessions, tiring out this defense.
A defense that's without their captain, Sid Smith. And a goal across the floor pass, a slam dunk finish. Jeff Shatler on the doorstep again. He's got his second goal tonight.
Not a good angle, but see how far this pass comes. Vince has a long way to go, and Shatler pretty much puts it off his back and in the net. And that you can see in that replay, kept his toes out of the crease. A big goal for Saskatchewan, who needed to get something going early in this half. It was all Rochester last quarter.
A lot of physicality on this faceoff. Withers had all of Jeremy Thompson. Somehow the Rush come up with the faceoff win, and they have lacked in that category tonight, Shanny.
Yeah, but they seem to be getting all the possessions so far in this half.
Looking for a momentum shift in this third quarter. Still trailing by 3. Here's Matthews. 84 assists to his name in the regular season. Almost had another there. Vince denies Shatler, who is the latest goal scorer for Saskatchewan.
Sometimes you underestimate Shatler's value, but
Keenan takes it right at Vince, and the veteran says no. Rochester now in transition.
Shatler doing a great job getting multiple possessions, getting loose balls, getting that offense to stay on the floor for Rochester, or for Saskatchewan.
Kyle Jackson off the iron. Rochester almost had the answer there. They reload right into Kirk. Rochester has really improved that transition game. You see there, plenty of time. That's where Saskatchewan was so good in game 1 and earned a 1-0 series lead that they brought here to Rochester. Keenan didn't get it cleanly, spins around, passes out of a double team, but it's picked off, intercepted. Slowing things down till more bodies come for the white and blue Knighthawks.
Great job by Frank Brown reading that pass and bringing it up the floor.
Off the back wall and picked up by Saskatchewan. Again, the transition not nearly as effective right now. Here's Dan Dawson. Passing off, clearing some space. Open in front, Keenan denied again. Matt Vince continuing an incredibly display, wow.
Well, you've said a number of times he's bailed out his team, and he definitely bailed them out there.
And a goal on the other end. How's that for momentum?
This is what we saw 2 or 3 times last week from Evan Kirk, making a big save in one end, but this time it's Vince who robs Keenan. The ball goes up the floor. And this time, rather than Saskatchewan scoring, Rochester steps into the outside shot. Cody Jamieson, similar to his last goal, looks short. A little bit of a twist and go. Looks like the far side, twist and goes to the short side. And that's a swing of 2 goals after that save.
Back to a 4-goal advantage for Rochester. Cody Jamieson, a clutch play in transition. He's gotten it done on the big stage before. 3 cups, all with Rochester during that three-peat from 2012 to 2014.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about Cody Jamieson, not just the NLL, he's done it NCAA, Man Cup, Minto Cups.
How did that not go in? Saskatchewan can't buy one here in Rochester.
You know, and the thing about Vince, when he's on his game, I think he gets in the heads of the shooters.
We talked about it pregame. They needed a Matt Vince classic, and boy, has he delivered. 4-goal lead, trying to build on it. Ball's loose. 1-on-1. Vince again. And this crowd knows it too.
And you knew that Thompson was going to take that shot. Last week he scored the opening goal of the game on a similar play. Oh my, they tried the sneak play from behind the net. Just weren't able to corral the ball. I think that was Courier behind the net.
He's having himself a game. 3 goals for Rochester. Some creativity there as well. Saskatchewan needs an answer, Shanny. They were up 2-0 since then. It's a 9-3 Rochester run. And they just seem out of form. Another turnover. Plenty of space. Nobody in front of them. And a goal! Graham Hosick again. And Rochester's got a 10-5 lead.
And this is exactly what Saskatchewan did to Rochester last week. Caused turnovers up high on the floor, turns into transition. Matthews tries to run down Hosick. What a great shot for like a defensive player to be able to bounce that in as smoothly as he did. He's having quite the series. We saw the caused turnovers earlier. His second goal of the game, got a goal last week. He's a coach's dream.
What's even more impressive, Shanny, is you said it before the game, he was your defensive player of the year, and boy, has he proved you right. 2 goals, plenty of caused turnovers, and with Sid Smith out, you know, captain on and off the floor for Rochester, he stepped up.
Yeah, and you know, you could go a season without scoring a goal, and he'd still get my vote for defensive player of the year. The goals are bonus.
How about goaltender of the year? Matt Vince putting on a display when they have needed him. Making it look so easy, too.
Well, he's won 5 of them, but he's more interested in winning another championship or a first NLL Cup.
Almost took the head off of Evan Kirk on that shot. Rush need goals, trailing by 5. And they really seem out of answers right now. It is rare to see the Saskatchewan team struggle on the offensive end. Another miscued pass. Rochester has it. They get it to Austin Shanks. Met by a double team. The Rush win it right back.
Yeah, I think Shanks had no idea a player was sneaking up behind him.
Off the wall, almost a great pass. Nothing doing for the Rush on the offensive end so far tonight. That's the physicality we're used to seeing, but Rochester has battled right through it.
Well, they double team Eric Fennell, but
here's Matthews.
Oh,
Matt Vince to deny Mark Matthews from point-blank range. That says it all. It's Matt Vince's world. We're just living in it. Rochester up 10-5.
NLL, it's a crazy, intense sport. No matter what's going on, guys want to win, so your head's always got to be on a swivel because you just get beat up.
I think the best way to describe it is the fastest game on 2 feet.
Any reason you go to any sporting event, it's in box lacrosse.
You know, we're not the typical pro athlete.
The band is faithful, they're feeling it.
Never in my life have I walked out to a place sold out, 16,000 fans, where it's loud. There's no other feeling like it in the world.
Rochester up at 10-5 here at Blue Cross Arena, and a dominating performance so far from the Knighthawks. Now, we've seen some really great things out of Matt Vince, and he told me earlier today that his performance and his attitude was going to be a lot tamer, a lot more mild-mannered than what we saw in Game 1. And something to think about, which never crossed my mind until I talked to him, he said that Sid Smith's absence affected him in a big way, because if you watch the game, him and Sid communicate quite frequently, and the fact that Sid wasn't there as an extra coach on the field to pass on Vince's messages really affected him initially, guys.
Shanny, he has battled through it tonight. He has been excellent.
yeah, he's made a number of big saves. No bigger one than this. Mark Matthews, the leading goal scorer of the NLL this year, gets the hard shot. And that ball bounces favorably for Vince after the save. Great point, though, that he made to Ashley about communicating with, his captain, one of the best defensive players. You forget, and it's not just the talk. I'm sure Sid Smith calms him down at times. And Vince actually probably lost his temper a few times last week. I wonder if it would have been different with Smith out there.
And Mike Hazen telling us Sid Smith, he might not be out there for Rochester, but he is still such an influence on this team off the floor. Fortunate bounce. Does not lead to a goal. Fennell could not find the back of the net. Saskatchewan caught a break there. Desperate need for some offense, Shanny. Who do you turn to here?
Oh, it's by committee on this team. And I think what's so good about Saskatchewan is they don't try to get the one guy to be the hero. They keep the ball moving, keep the picks going.
Keenan with the shot clock running down, just tossed it away.
And Derek Keenan will tell you what he loves about his offense is that everybody's so unselfish. They don't care who scores the goal as long as they get one.
Taking another break, Rochester in the driver's seat, trying to force a Game 3, and the Knighthawks controlling a 10-5 lead here at home.
Scott Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates, from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
If you're a player looking for a lightweight head that delivers power and control, string up the Under Armour Command Low.
The t-shirt of the Rochester fans reads 1 goal, and their goal is to end up with the NLL Cup. So far, so good in game number 2. It's a 10-5 lead for the Knighthawks, doubling up Saskatchewan after the Rush won game 1. That would force a game 3 a week from tonight.
Vitarelli was wide open on that play. Sorry, Jay.
All good. Rush not going down without a fight. Sprinting to goal over the head of Matthews. Battle for the ball. You love to see this. Physicality. 3 white jerseys, 3 dark jerseys. Loose ball fired out.
It's amazing, though, the job that Saskatchewan has done to win those loose ball battles offensively.
And once again, with the shot clock running down, Matt Vince makes a save. Another scramble for it. Who wants it more? The Rush have come up with more, but Rochester comes up with that one. Shanks again, left open. Pass was behind him, and the Rush get it right back.
Tried to reach back with that with just one hand.
2 goals for Saskatchewan in the opening 2.5 minutes. Since then, only 3 goals. They have been ice cold.
And that's something you don't see often. They just didn't handle that ball before it went over the center line. Saskatchewan called for over and back penalty.
2:43 remaining in this third quarter. It has been the Rochester team that beat Saskatchewan twice in the regular season tonight, not the team that lost game 1 a week ago.
That one went off the pipe.
Resets the shot clock for the Knighthawks. Resetarits had the window, stepped into it, unleashed a bullet. Ball is loose, and the Rush got it.
And we're getting a penalty. Another Saskatchewan penalty. I think it's Sorketti again.
Yeah, you're right, Shanny. That's the second time in the box tonight. And Rochester goes on the power play, already leading by 5 goals tonight.
2 for roughing. We haven't had a power play goal. Watch this. Sorgetti, see what he does after he gets up. You know, I didn't see it there. I don't think that was where the penalty was from.
Couldn't have been, right? Looking for a shorthanded goal. Swim dodge behind the back, but Matt Vince, another denial. Oh, that would have been the goal of the game.
That was a nice effort by defensive player Ryan Dilks. He doesn't score too often, but he has had a few playoff goals and a nice behind the back shot.
Resets the shot clock for Rochester. 1:10 remaining on the penalty.
Officially, Rochester's 0 for 3 on the power play, but they scored a goal on a delayed penalty. Plus, they scored 2 goals just a few seconds after a penalty. So you can't say the penalties haven't affected Saskatchewan.
They certainly have. 50 seconds left on the penalty, 55 seconds left in the third quarter.
Very uncharacteristic of Saskatchewan, giving up that ball. A couple of overbacks in the last few minutes.
It's been a sloppy second and third quarter for the Rush, and Rochester has capitalized. A 10-5 Knighthawks lead. 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Cody Jamieson unleashes one. Austin Shanks the rebound.
With just 20 seconds left in the quarter, they'll try to get one last shot, one last late shot.
Here's Shanks, met by Kirk. 7 seconds left. Off the scoreboard.
Not a smart play for Rochester to take that shot. There was a potential for a breakaway, and they got that lucky bounce.
And that does it for quarter number 3. Rochester in a must-win game to keep their season alive. Doubling up Saskatchewan 10-5. The NLL finals are delivering. And so is Mad Vince. We'll be back for the fourth. Fourth quarter about to begin. Brian Shanahan, Jay Alter with you here in Rochester. The Knighthawks doing what they need to do to force a Game 3 so far, a 10-5 lead. And we got to tell you about NLL Relax. You can join Ashley Docking, Tyson Geik, and Pat Gregoire for the best takes of the weekend. You know they'll be fired up Monday, 7 p.m. You can join the conversation as they either talk about a champion or preview Game 3. And right now, Rochester, if they keep going like the way they've been playing, Shanny, it'll be Game 3.
Long way to go, but they've been playing great. One of the best players has been Graham Hosick. Defensive player scores a goal to make it 2-2 after a slow start to the game. But watch his stick check. He makes it look so easy as he steals it from Corbeil and then causes another turnover, gets the ball up the floor, another breakaway. 2 goals in this game. 4 goals in the playoffs already for the great defender.
Hosick has put Rochester in a great spot. The Rush, they've only scored 5 goals in the first 45 minutes. Shanny, they need 5 more just to tie this game.
Yeah, and if you think about it, they scored 2 quick goals in the first 3 minutes of the game. So in the last 42 minutes, just 3 goals. That's some great defense by Rochester.
And a miscue right off the face-off by Saskatchewan. That has really summed up the night.
You're right, and Graham Hosick cashes in with a loose ball.
Really, the first 15 seconds of the fourth quarter summarize the first 45 minutes of this game. Battle for the loose ball to begin this fourth quarter. 3 Saskatchewan players going in for it. And finally awarded to the Rush. That's been talked a lot about in the last 2 weeks that these two teams met in 2012 where Rochester beat Rush. That was the first of 3 straight for the Knighthawks, and people thought it'd be a different outcome. The Rush just felt like that team that's the dynasty right now, having won 2 out of the last 3, but Rochester, especially with goaltender Matt Vincenti, they said, you know what, it's not going to be that easy.
Yeah, and you know, winning 3 in a row, it's only happened once in the NLL, and a lot of people thought it was going to happen again last year with Saskatchewan, but yeah, a lot of things got to go right to win.
Rebound goes right back to Rochester, but the shot clock expires before they could get a clean look.
And watch for Rochester to try to play careful. You don't want to stop playing offense, but you want to make sure that you get your defense on the floor safely and not give up any easy transition opportunities to Saskatchewan.
Schattler lost the handle, got it right back. 8 seconds left, give and go. Schattler could not come up with it. Shot and deflected.
They get a reset, that one hit the pipe.
Rush waiting for that right opportunity. Church.
Oh, nice save.
Really good look. Vince doing what he's done all night, which is keeping the Rush out of the back of the net. Here's Jamison, 2 goals to his name tonight. This time passing off, Kirk is there. Evan Kirk has still had a nice game for the Rush, but he'll be greatly overshadowed by Matt Vince's performance tonight. That one, Vince goes low for and keeps out of the net.
Yeah, he looked like he wasn't sure where that ball was. I think it was in his knee pad. It's always scary when the goalie looks behind him after making a save. Watch this shot. And that was Church with a sneaky shot, and yeah, it's in his knee pad.
And on the other end, Rochester, an opportunity, goes begging. The Rush made their money in game 1 in transition. They've been held in check so far tonight in that category, and another opportunity goes wasted.
Yeah, and I think wasted is the key word on that one. That was an outside shot by Jeff Cornwall. I think they would rather get their offense on and work it. Take the transition if it's a good transition opportunities, but I don't think that was a great opportunity to shoot on.
Trickery, and it almost pays off.
Corey Vitarelli, and he's giving it back to Kyle Rubish. Rubish is angered at that. Rubish took an earlier penalty for roughing, so he was hoping there was a little payback.
Rush need to find a way to find the back of the net and start this comeback. That won't work. No penalty there. Fans might have wanted one.
No, I think the fans in the building are the only ones who thought there should be a penalty on that play.
Rochester running the clock down again. 5 seconds to shoot. And they do right off the pipe.
That I saw a mesh move. That might have been the vibration, but
wow.
It's important at this point. Rochester loves it every time they get a reset on offense.
Right. And a goal's even better. Josh Courier again. He's got 4 for Rochester. And the Knighthawks edging even closer to a game 3.
Very much like a Robert Church type goal. Looks like replays of what we saw last week. Just coming around the top, shooting around the crowd. Just kind of fools Evan Kirk as he goes short side. And 6 minutes and 1 second into the fourth quarter, we got our first goal, and it's for the Rochester Knighthawks. And we talk about the young players on Rochester. It's not just the rookies this year. Courier was a rookie last year.
Right.
Jackson, Hossack's only played, this is his third or fourth season. Great contributions. Third season for Hossack. The young guys are playing great for this team.
They've got 11 impact guys on their roster that are finishing their third year or younger. This team is young. They're hungry. Courier's got 4, and Rochester's leading by 6 in the fourth.
What drives you to find your inner purpose? Play with purpose.
Show your stuff in front of GMs, coaches, and scouts at the 2018 National Lacrosse League Combine in San Diego on August 11th. This could be your chance to play in the big leagues.
Welcome back. Now at 2-6, the Rochester Knighthawks were free falling. It looked like their season was in major jeopardy. But then all of a sudden they started winning. And the cause of that, well, if you ask some of the players that live here in Rochester, it could be as easy as all-you-can-eat sushi. That's right, the local players have a squad, a sushi squad, that goes out to eat, and they rattled off 5 wins in a row when they had those meals. Before game one of the members of the team couldn't make the dinner, and we saw the result of that. So this week, Jake Withers knew he couldn't be there. He was back home in Peterborough for the Man Cup banner unveiling. So what did he do? He timed out his meal, you guys, with his Rochester teammates, FaceTimed them with a bowl of miso. And is the superstition intact? Well, take a look at the score.
Shanny, we got to get the name of that sushi place. I hope they're open post-game.
It's all about the sushi. Forgot to add it to the keys to the game.
Hey, I'll tell you, any superstitions that work for the locker room and the guys will work. Delayed penalty. Kirk runs off. Rush need a goal, trailing by 6 here in the fourth. 9:40 remaining. Off the iron, gets the rebound though. Penalty, still a delay.
Oh, great
what
job.
A save.
Yeah, great job by Vince. Reading the pass to Keenan. He's over there as the shot's being taken. Holding call.
So the Rush moved to the power play. Withers, his second time in the penalty box. 2-minute penalty against Jake Withers there. Shanny, do you feel like the Rush have to score here?
Yes, absolutely. You know, just the way the game has been going. Oh, and that's what they needed.
Just what the doctor ordered, and it's Ryan Keenan. Derek Keenan's son, clutch goal.
Not only do they need a goal, they need to get one quick. You don't want to eat up 2 minutes, score late, so they did what they needed. They scored an early goal. They have pulled within 5 with 9 minutes to go. They're hoping to get another quick one and somehow eat at the self-confidence that this Rochester team seems to have right now. They've got to try to create doubt.
And it's so tough to get those quick goals when you have Jake Withers as the face-off man for your opposing team. Another win. He has dominated the face-off X once again.
That's a good save by Kirk. And Evan Kirk, we've talked about how great Vince has played, and he has played well, but Evan Kirk has played well in his end too.
Unfortunately for the Rush, it was a rebound. So more time comes off this clock. Flipped back, Jackson steps into it and fires home. Kyle Jackson off the feed from Cody Jamieson, and Rochester back up by 6.
And as big as that goal just was for Saskatchewan, I believe this is bigger, because it sends a message. You might get one, but we're getting it right back. And another youngster, second-year player, Kyle Jackson. You know, this team that didn't make the playoffs last year, missing Cody Jamieson the whole season, they were able to play some young guys, give them some confidence, and added a few more young guys this year, and they've rebounded in a quick way.
Withers, the rookie, another face-off win. They've got 5 first-year players, 11 guys that are experiencing their 3rd year or younger in the NLL. So it's a young team. Sure, you have some veteran leadership like in Cage with Matt Vince, year number 13. Jamieson in year 8, who's won 3 cups. But, Shanny, overall, a lot of contributions from young guys, and you would say they're ahead of schedule right now, headed towards a Game 3 if they can close this out in the NLL Finals.
Well, especially, you know, for a team that was...
How about that for an answer? Jeff Shatler. That's a hat trick.
Is this going to turn into a shootout now?
Well, Saskatchewan needs it to.
Yeah, like right now, Saskatchewan would be happy to throw out the defensive end and just play loosey-goosey, get some goals. And Rochester, on the other hand, they want to play controlled. That's a big pick by Matthews, does a good job. And Shatler's come to play.
Well, we know the talent on the offensive end for Saskatchewan. They may have not showed up in the 2nd or 3rd quarter, but they can score goals in bunches. This game's certainly not over yet, although Rochester in the driver's seat.
Jeff Shatler's won 1 NLL championship with the Calgary Roughnecks.
And how aggressive do you want to play it right now if you're Saskatchewan, Shanny?
Oh, they got to shoot all the time. They, like I said, they got to try to put some doubt in the heads of Rochester.
Evan Kirk, quick save in the outlet there as well. Matt Vince again, rebound. Vince the second. Oh, he can't be beat. Battle for the loose ball. Rochester comes up with it. Give it right back to the Rush, though. 7 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Trailing by 5. Gotta hurry.
I'm not sure what the referee saw there, but he didn't like what Rochester did on that loose ball, and Saskatchewan gets another possession.
Right into the chest of Vince. That's a comfortable save for the veteran.
And you watch, every time Saskatchewan gets the ball, there's a sense of urgency. They want to bring it to the net quickly. That was a dangerous shot, or dangerous pass.
Very risky. Saskatchewan gets the ball back. Quick feed sent wide. Vince tried to get it off the rebound, unable to come up with it. Church the trailer, another terrific save.
That's another huge save. And you watch it, that was a giveaway by Rochester just a few seconds ago. They want to be using 30 seconds every time. They got a nice save and a setup by Shatler. Shatler's got a 6-point night going.
6 out of the 7 goals for the Rush. Jeff Shatler is chimed in on. Rush got to hurry, Shanny. They're running out of time. Under 6 to play, trailing by 5.
Yeah, I didn't realize how impressive that 6-point night is for Shatler. Yeah. But given the fact they've only got 7 goals, what a night he's having.
McIntosh passes off to that one. Shovel pass right to Vince.
Well, that was Shatler was looking to do to Matthews what Matthews did to him very early in the game. Throw that pass in the area.
Delayed penalty.
Oh, you watch here. This is an opportunity for them to kill. Now there's only 15 seconds left in the shot clock, but they'll still want to take the late shot.
5 seconds left, Jamison. And we will get our delayed penalty. So Rochester moves to the power play, leading by 5 goals. Under 5 minutes to play, we will step aside. Penalty on the other side. Matt Vince, the story of the night. A legendary goalkeeper. And boy, he's adding to that resume with the performance tonight.
Think you've got what it takes to compete with Curtis Dixon, to shut down Lyle Thompson, and to hang with Tom Schreiber? Show your stuff in front of GMs, coaches, and scouts at the 2018 National Lacrosse League Combine in Dallas, Texas on July 8th. This could be your chance to play in the big leagues.
Rochester can feel it. 5 minutes away from forcing a Game 3 that would be played a week from tonight back in Saskatchewan. And they're clinging to that 5-goal lead. If you think what it takes to play professionally like Shanny did, you can show off your skills in front of NLL coaches, GMs, and scouts during the NLL Combines happening this summer in Dallas, San Diego, Vancouver, Philadelphia, and Toronto. Head to NLL.com today to register or for more information.
Yeah, a lot of great young players. They used to just do that one combine in Toronto area. I think it's great that they're expanding that to different regions around North America, especially with this league expanding.
So Rochester moves to the power play. 2-minute penalty against the Rush.
And you watch for the Saskatchewan players to cheat as much as possible. You know what? There's a shot. They're going to have 2 guys breaking fast, looking for potential shorthanded goal.
There's the break you were talking about.
And you watch, Rochester will try to be disciplined so that their left shooters will try to, when a shot's taken, head back towards the bench in case Saskatchewan gets the ball.
Oh
my.
Wow. Mad Vince.
I wasn't even sure Matthews caught that ball till I saw that Vince had made the save.
Wow. 4 minutes to go now for Rochester. Inching closer and closer to Game 3 and a trip back to Saskatchewan. Loose ball. Rochester's got it. Austin Shanks took a shot, got his own rebound, passes out, another off the wall, and Rochester a shot clock violation. Knighthawks think it should have been reset.
I thought it was on net too. I thought they were getting a reset.
Another save by Vince. Sometimes it's just one man's night. And it has been Matt Vince's keeping a 5-goal advantage. Rochester can kill clock, 15 seconds left in this penalty. They certainly won't shoot. Maybe Jamison will. He will.
Yeah, don't let him fool you.
Penalty is released.
Yeah, I think they'd rather shoot early in that sequence. Watch the goaltenders coming out for Saskatchewan now.
6-on-5 for the Rush.
And that's not a delayed penalty. They just know it's desperate times, desperate measures.
Here's Church. Passes off. Back to Church. To the doorstep. No window. Oh, Matt Vince again.
That was a nice save. Empty net.
And it's Carlson, not Kirk. Couldn't get there in time. And Rochester, Brad Gillies.
And start it from the save here. Watch the shot. That's Dinsdale steps around, a good save, and very calmly Ian Lord goes behind the net, passes it up to Gillies. And you know, he doesn't give Kirk a chance to get back in the net, confident in his outside shot. I think the fans of this building are sensing that there's going to be a game 3.
Rochester's front office can start booking those tickets. 6-goal advantage. Only a little more than 2 minutes left, and Withers, a machine from the face-off X, wins another one for Rochester.
Yep, start looking for the flights to Saskatoon.
A young group missing their captain. With plenty of excuses they could use, they have not used any of them. Just came out with their backs against the wall and were the better team tonight.
Yeah, and with an exclamation mark. 13-7. They were down 2-0 3 minutes into the game. Dominated from that point on. And as you've said many times, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Matt Vince is the main reason.
Yeah. Adding another notch in what has been a historic career. He wants another cup here in Rochester.
Shots are 53-52 for Saskatchewan.
Everybody is on their feet here in Rochester. Blue Cross Arena is rocking, and will send the Knighthawks back to Saskatchewan for Game 3 in the NLL Finals.
And you know the NLL Cup is in the house.
Yep.
But they're keeping it in the box.
Take a look at this scene. This is what the NLL's all about. $20 seconds remaining. Saskatchewan came in with one mission. We don't want a Game 3. Now their fans got to get ready because Rochester has won Game 2, 13-7. I'll make it 13-8 with 0.1 second left.
Well, that was
the party.
The only Saskatchewan player who could get a bit of a cheer from the crowd in Rochester. Dan Dawson scores a goal with 1 second to go. And they will actually do a quick review here, as they do with every goal with less than 2 minutes. And that's good. He put it in before he landed on the crease. He was in the air.
It counts, but it doesn't really count.
No, all it does is extend this game for a few seconds and give the fans a little bit more time to get excited and to cheer their team that they won't get to see play another home game for the first time since the NLL has gone back to the 2 out of 3 finals, we're going to go 3 games. Last year, Georgia won it in 2. The year before, Saskatchewan won it in 2 over Buffalo. Edmonton won it in 2 over Toronto.
It is confirmed. A good goal. And this is just a formality with only 0.1 second left. We will see you next week in Saskatoon. Rochester wins it 13-8. And for the first time, we will have a Game 3.
And I'll tell you, before this series started, I think everybody said this is going to be tough and we're going to go 3 games. But then a lot of people changed their tune after the domination by Saskatchewan last week. We knew there was going to be pushback by Rochester, but I'm surprised at how strong they looked. I knew they would adjust. I knew they would play well. I wasn't sure whether they'd win or not, but I'm shocked by how much they dominated this game.
On both ends of the floor.
Yes.
It's one thing for Matt Vince to stand on his head like he did, and maybe they win 9-8. But you know what? The offense got cooking too. 13 goals against this Rush team is impressive.
Yep, and the young players we've talked about, Courier, Hossack in his 3rd year, Fennell had a good game. Of course, the veteran Cody Jamieson got a couple of goals, and Jeff Schottler, great effort in a losing cause, 7 points out of 8 goals. Hopefully, for his sake, he has more of that for next week.
Your player of the game, surely, though, the veteran goaltender, Matt Vince.
Yes, without a doubt, I'll say he's a player of the game. I love the way a lot of guys played on Rochester. We've talked about Graham Hossack. Courier had a great game, but my player of the game, I think it is for you too, is Matt Vince.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Matt Vince eyeing that 4th NLL championship. Getting properly celebrated by this home crowd. Rochester, 1 goal. That was to win today. 13-8, they get it done. We'll wrap it up on the other side.
In the darkest depths of the ocean, much is still unknown. Much is still left to the imagination. You think you know what awaits in shallower waters. You think you know what lurks near the surface. You think you know, but your reality, your world as you know it, is all about to change.
He's got Digby on the take, scores! Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot, hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
We will have a Game 3 in Saskatchewan. Rochester wins it 13-8, a clutch win in Game 2 with their backs against the wall. And the hero, the goalkeeper, the veteran, Matt Vince, standing by with our Ashley Docking.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Okay, first of all, Matt, with a game like that, you had one simple request, so I'll let you just take it away off the top.
Yeah, I just wanted to wish happy birthday to my niece McKenna. It's her 8th birthday, and she decided to come to the game tonight instead of have her birthday party. So I just want you look at when we were 2-6, and we were desperate. We were fighting for our lives, and again tonight, resiliency's been our thing the whole year. Hazer says just go out there and win the first loose ball, and we did that tonight, and I think we slowly gained momentum. We used our crowd to our advantage, and we played like we were on with our backs against the wall, and I think that's how we have to play every game. And it's winner take all now, so we're in a good position because we're playing in the last game of the year.
And what a crowd you guys had out tonight.
Yeah, it's great, especially to match Saskatchewan's effort, with their type of crowd, and our crowd. It's a small arena, but it really gets loud in here, and when we start hearing everybody cheering, it really pumps us up.
Small but mighty. Congratulations on the win. See you at Game 3.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Gentlemen, back to you to wrap it up.
And thank you, Ashley. And Matt Vince, we agreed, the hero tonight in goal, making save after save, and especially when Saskatchewan jumped out to that 2-0 lead, people might have thought, man, the Rush are just going to come in here and mean business, but he responded, and Rochester gets an emphatic win.
Yeah, he sure did. That first goal to open the game, I don't think was a great goal. It was Church scored on the outside shot. It was quickly 2-0, and then you thought, oh my gosh, this could get ugly quick, but by the end of the night, 47 saves on 55 shots. Matt Vince played fantastic, and so did the rest of the team. He wasn't the only one that responded. We talked about Hasek, Courier, Withers on the face-off. Really, it was a total team effort, and they pretty much did what they did when they turned their season around this year. Let's not forget, they were the hottest team in the NLL the second half of the season. Maybe we forgot that after them being dominated last week, but we really shouldn't be surprised that they play well. Certainly, they brought it here at home. Their hashtag leading up to the game, 1 goal. They get to that Game 3. First time since they switched to the format that there will be a Game 3. Shanny, what can we expect? Well, I'll tell you one thing we can expect. It is going to be sold out in Saskatoon. That place is going to be rocking. They really didn't want a third game. They wanted a championship, but now that they got a third game, the fans are going to pack that place, and it'll be exciting. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Rochester fans traveling as well. Well, we saw a couple travelers from the Rush fan base here in Rochester, so Nighthawk fans, you got to get to it and head to Saskatoon. We will be there. Game 3 comes to you exactly a week from tonight, 9:30 Eastern Time in Saskatoon, on Twitter, on NLL TV. Once again, our final score 13-8. How about Rochester? Backs against the wall, forcing a Game 3. Someone's taking home the NLL Cup. Saskatchewan thought it would be them tonight. Rochester said no. And, of course, you can visit NLLTV.com for an all-access pass to the National Lacrosse League and get the latest news, highlights, and stories leading up to what will be the first Game 3 since they went back to it. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun for our entire crew. Brian Shanahan, Ashley Docking down on the floor, and Tyson Geik. I am Jay Alter. You have been watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. Rochester wins it 13-8.
Chris, what can you tell us about your playing back to Saskatchewan? How does it change there versus playing here? Does it change for you guys when you come into this environment?
It'll be nice to get back to our routine. We're on the road. Changes things up. We weren't able to get a practice in last night. Our shoot-around was in the arena. We don't make excuses for any of that. Rochester was in the same boat, but when you just have that familiarity of playing at home, just tends to make things a little more comfortable. You get back to that routine, so it'll be nice to get back to that.
I know there were some people saying last week they were surprised at the margin of victory. This week, last week they said the same thing. Are you surprised by the way these two games have gone?
Sloppy. We've worked on all season, basic principles. Guys weren't making the right reads and kind of, doing the wrong thing out there. So it wasn't a good night for us really in a lot of aspects. So chance to go over tape, go over some video, identify those mistakes, and learn from them.
Coach, we know lacrosse is a game of runs. It looks like outside of the 2-0 start, you guys only got one goal at a time. Obviously, you said it should have been a momentum shift with Keenan scoring at the end of the first, and then the power play, and instead, every time you guys scored, they answered right away.
Yeah, they did. It's kind of like we did last week. Same thing. It was just they turned the tables on that. We couldn't get a run going. They answered every time. Like we got a goal in the fourth there that really I thought might change the momentum, and they answered right away. And we just had another defensive breakdown, and that kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. And it was a game. It was an odd game, to be honest. At times it didn't have flow, and it was kind of sloppy at times. I thought, especially on our part. It was just kind of an odd game, but we'll get back to it next week. Like Corb said, we'll get a good practice in and get back to our routine and back in front of our home fans, and I think we'll be much better. But they did play desperate, and they earned the win, no question about that.
Is there anything you can learn from a game like this, where these two teams know each other well enough now that they can?
Yeah, for sure. I think the message is going to be that we didn't play hard enough for a consistent 60 minutes. We had spurts where we played pretty hard, and we had some guys underperform as individuals and as a team. So, and those guys will be better next week for that, without a doubt.
Well, Adrian, what's it like to be going into a do-or-die game 3? You guys are hoping to wrap it up today, but now you have a week to think about it. I guess what's that going to be like for you as a player just getting ready for this?
I think going along with what Corb said, it's exciting to get back to Saskatoon. And as Derek said, we have a lot of work to do. Going through a couple mishaps this past game, and it's going to require a full 60 minutes. So there's a lot to be learned from this loss, and we're going to put our best foot forward and try to finish it off next week.
Can you talk for a moment about the breakaway you had in the third period? Vince, of course, stops you, and this can seem like a microcosm of the game in that one possession right there.
Sure. Yeah. It was obviously the ball was loose at the midline, and Rubes kind of gave me the go-ahead, running down my offside. He's a good goalie, and he took away far side, so I tried to put it short side, and just didn't bounce. So.
Chris, we know their offensive talent, and you guys go toe-to-toe with them talent-wise for the front door. But tonight it was Josh Curry. And when you look at the roster and think of who might be the guy that's going to beat you guys, you look at Jamison, you look at Shanks in the year he's having, Kyle Jackson. Josh Courier gets 4 today. Talk about how dynamic their offense is and how important it is to shut down every guy for them.
Yeah, it's just a case with really any NLL team, and then especially a conference champion. I mean, there's only 6 or 7 spots up front for each NLL team, and to be a guy that's in there, you got to be great. It's funny, I hadn't checked the game sheet yet, but it's interesting you mentioned Courier going for 4 because he was a guy that we actually talked about, in the shoot-around this morning, and something we talked about with our penalty kill. So I didn't realize that until you just brought it up, but obviously they got a ton of depth. They got guys that will fill the void of scoring if one guy's not going. So we're the same way though, and we didn't get a ton of offensive production tonight. A lot of that's credited to Vince, but we'll have to be better in game 3.
Now, it looks like you held Jamison to 2 and Shanks maybe to 1 on the shorthanded goal. So for the most part, you guys did shut down some of their guys.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, for as bad as we were, there were stretches where we were also, very good, and the penalties obviously went against us tonight, and those are big momentum killers too if they can get one on the power play, and it's tough. So, yeah, we'll have to do a good job against Jamison and Shanksy again, but and Resetaris and Courier and all the guys. So.
Derek, you've been in games, one game for the title before as a player. As a coach, it's one last game and it's similarities, but I'm sure it's a lot of difference in comparing.
Yeah, we did it 3 weeks ago with Calgary, same situation where you win or you're done. So that's what it is. I mean, we've got a lot of players who played in big games at the NLL level and every level. So I'm sure we'll bring it. One big difference tonight was they scored 4 in transition. We didn't have any. They executed a little better, made shots. We didn't. We were sloppy, and so we need to turn that around. I'm fine if we go 0-0 in transition, but we can't give up 4. They did a better job of getting off the floor, I thought. But again, we did have a lot of opportunities that we just didn't execute on. So, but I mean, it's a one game. We're at home. We're comfortable, and we'll be prepared.
Did this feel any different, this chase for championship? Did it feel different than the first 2 just because of the way you guys lost last year? Does that make a different feel to it?
Apparently I'm not speaking loud enough. Much different. This team's whole attitude this season has been a lot different. I think last season we suffered from a bit of complacency. And just, the first 2 years were unique. Year 1 was, the first team, the first time that organization had got one. The second year was, relocated, adjusting to Saskatoon and the market there. And last year we just, like I said, we settled into a bit of complacency. So this year we came in with a chip on our shoulder, one goal in mind, unapologetically, just, focused in on winning another championship. And that was sort of the message I said to the guys when I got into the room tonight was just, we battled all season long. Let's put tonight behind us because we got one game to win a championship. And if you had offered that at the start of the year, I think the guys would have taken it. So we got a fantastic opportunity next Saturday on home floor. It's great. These are the games. This is why you play lacrosse for nights like next Saturday, and I can't wait.
Anyone else? Great. That concludes the press conference for the Saskatchewan Rush. Next up, Rochester Knighthawks.
Okay, seeing you. Charlie. I got Ace and Dino.
Great game, 4 goals. Walk us through that.
That's just kind of been the way our team's been all year. Someone different steps up each game, and I was lucky enough to get the chance tonight. And overall, it was a big team win, so that's what I'm happy about.
And for Matt, stopping the couple of breakaways that really helped with the momentum with the Knighthawks.
Yeah, again, it's just for myself, just trying to make one stay at a time. But I really like our pushback in the first 2 shots, and I think our team did a good job digging out of an early hole. And that's the way we've been kind of playing all year. One guy's down, the other guys bail us out.
Coach, great games, as I said to him, but I noticed that Saskatchewan struck first in the first quarter, and then you guys battled back, had more goals than them. What went well with that tonight?
You know what, we did us. Again, it's simple stuff. Offensively, we just moved our feet, moved the ball. Defensively, we just got on the floor real quick, and we've been kind of battling this way for about 3 or 4 months, and been playing this way. And tonight we had an opportunity, and we're able to do it again. So we'll take it.
Matt, tell us about that big save you made that was unexpected at the old Blue Cross Arena.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even necessarily recall it, but I think for myself, again, some of the differences got some bounces. So they hit some of the pipes, and things just kind of went our way. And I think Hazer's kind of been saying that when we work hard, those bounces do go our way. And I think that was a different effort tonight from us. Guys getting on and off the floor, and if they did have breakaways or something like that, it was with the guys, contesting and making it tough on them.
You guys had laser focus, and I noticed that in shoot-around early this morning. What was said after the game last week, and then even at shoot-around this morning, that really made that big difference for you guys? Anyone can answer that one.
I got it. I just remember, Cody Jamieson saying, we're better with our backs against the wall. And I think that's kind of been our approach, since mid-February, where we were 2-6, and then Hazer kind of reiterated the same thing in practice. We can't feel sorry for ourselves, after losing game 1. There's 7 other teams that would die to be in that position, and I think that's kind of where we went from. We were just happy to have this opportunity to play in front of our fans and try to even up the series.
Matt, you have an interesting point of view where you make a big save, the play goes down the other end, and you get to see the momentum perhaps shift after you make those big saves. Did you find the offense feeding off of that defensive effort where every time you'd make a big stop, you felt they were going to go down and just score another goal?
Yeah, I think they always say it in most sports, so you hear the commentator, usually when there's a save, it usually comes back and the offensive team, makes a big play. And, they did us last week, and, I was just fortunate to be able to help out our team, and our offense, scored some real timely goals out there to really put us in a good position in the 4th quarter.
Kind of talk about what this, tonight kind of seemed like a microcosm of what the last kind of 2 months have done, starting 2-6, to be down 2-0, off that crazy goal. What was said on the bench? Was there any calming effect to know, hey, no panic, this is kind of what we do?
Are you on the bench? I was on the bench. For that, no, it's we knew what we had to do here tonight, and we've been there, done that before. They're a team that starts very, very well. Both games that we beat them previously, they started off with a bang. We just knew we had to just keep to it and just stick with what we do. And tonight we were rewarded, and we were working hard all night long. So that's what we did.
Coach, a real even first quarter, 3-3. You guys take a penalty with 2 seconds to go. The Rush start on the power play, and instead of giving one up, you score one and then earn a power play yourself. Coach Keenan said that didn't feel like a momentum shift for them, but did it feel that way for you guys, that you guys were able to grab control of the game despite being down a man?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah, but at the same time, there's still lots of lacrosse left, and they're too good to put it on one spot. But yeah, it was huge. Their power play, you give them opportunities. They weren't very good the last time, but we knew they were going to be good today, so we didn't want to be in the box, but to give up one shorthand or get the one shorthanded, just sort of, at least we'll be even coming out of this, so it was a good spot for us.
And along the same line, the only time that they scored more than one goal at a time was the 2-0 lead. After that, you held them to one every time, and we know lacrosse is a game of runs. You can't have a better game plan than holding them to one goal at a time.
No, 100%. And again, that's you go back to September. That's why we drafted number 2, Wiz. 60 whatever percentage he is, we're going to get the ball back. We know that, and it kind of kills momentum. It kills their momentum, and offensively we just stepped up, which is great. We had an answer tonight, which is what we need.
The crowd seemed to answer as well. Can anybody just talk about the atmosphere? Near the pre-packed, and there were no runs that the Rush got on, but you guys kind of fed. Whenever they threw a punch, you guys were able to hit them back.
Yeah, I'd say I played with a little more motion than I have in the past this year, and I think that's because of the fans tonight. It was a lot of fun playing in front of them. Everyone was into it, and we kind of fed off them the whole game, and it was really nice to see everyone out there supporting us.
So going off of that, next week when you go back to Saskatchewan, you're going to be in enemy territory. It's been vice versa, like you lost there, but then won back here at Blue Cross Arena. So what's going to happen next week when you get back to Saskatchewan?
Yeah, we know it's loud in Saskatchewan. We know what to expect, but we need to weather the storm early, I think, and we'll be fine.
At what point did you trust the lead? Just because you know Saskatchewan is such a powerhouse offensive team, so at which point did you think that you're like, okay, we have this in hand, and maybe not took your foot off the gas, but kind of got to enjoy it a little bit?
For myself, I don't know if I did all game, maybe one in the final minute.
Okay.
They're a very powerful team, so you never know what you're going to get with them. So the fact that we held them to that low was pretty impressive for our defense, I think.
Speaking of Saskatchewan, this was the first time all season they're held to less than 10 goals. It comes in a crucial playoff game. Is this the kind of momentum that the team needs heading into Game 3?
For myself and the offense, we kind of expect that from our D all year. We think we got the best defense, the best goal in the league, so we're able to rely on them, and we feed off them all game and all season.
Coach, you've been watching Matt play magnificent goal for years and years here in Rochester. Can you almost sum up what he's meant to the team over the years and how the role he plays now?
It's the same every single game. He gives us an opportunity to win, no matter how bad we're playing in front of him. He's going to do what it takes to at least give us that opportunity. And again, it's not just what you see on the floor; it's off the floor. He's a student of the game. He takes care of himself, and he takes care of our team.
Yeah, the defense came through with a strong defensive effort, but then they were able also to help offensively with Brand scoring 2 goals and Paul Dawson getting 2 assists.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I said it off the hop there, is that is us. We need some contribution from that back end. But again, I think, like I say, defensively we were good, V was good, but I think a lot of credit goes to our offense here tonight because they allowed us to be good. The week before, we weren't doing what we did tonight. Like I say, our offense put numbers up, but they also helped us keep the numbers down, which is what we need to even have an opportunity to win.
Coach, after falling behind early, 2-0, you come back, you score your 3, you get 3-2 lead, but they tie that game up with 3.2 seconds to go in that first quarter. What was said to the team in between quarters to get that momentum back?
To tell you the truth, not much. Again, we were a focused group tonight, and we knew what we had to do here tonight, and we just stuck with it, and we were. So again, we just kept working hard and got rewarded for it, and just sort of extended a little bit of a run there, and that's what we need.
So Matt, when you was talking to those guys earlier about the atmosphere in Saskatchewan, they were saying you've been the best goalie here, playing really well tonight, as they were saying. What are you going to do next week when you get to Saskatchewan? Hopefully keep that streak going. It's going to get a big crowd.
I'm going to do exactly what I've done before every game, before every practice. I'm a creature of habit, and it's one you can't do anything different. It's good. You got to approach it like you did all year. I just got to go up there, try to make the first save. Try to keep level-headed and really calm in there, because if we do that, we're going to have an opportunity to give a good game and hopefully be on top. So again, we just want to make one play at a time. We just want to go through here, win the first face-off, get the first loose ball, and that's kind of how we're approaching it.
Matt, what kind of environment are you expecting here on Saturday?
It's just real loud, and on the defensive end, it's tough to communicate, and we expect that, and it's hard to prepare for, but fortunately we've been there twice this year, so we have a little experience with it. So I think we just got to go out there and hopefully limit their runs, limit their time and space for their offensive guys, and limit their transition. And hopefully, we come up with a big game. And, it's a big stage, and hopefully we come ready to play.
Are there many places in the league that are louder than Saskatoon?
There's some other good places to play. This one gets pretty loud for the size of the building, but again, they're a passionate group out there with their fans, and it's a fun place to play. Regardless of what's going on in the game, it seems like they're really appreciative, and it's great for the league.
Coach, is a winner-take-all game a little different? You don't need a big motivational speech. I'm sure everybody knows what's at stake going in.
Yeah, most definitely. It's if you're not ready and if you're not prepared to play this game, you shouldn't be playing this game. So I don't think much needs to be said this coming week, and we get to their Saturday.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. That concludes the press conference. Next game goes next weekend in Saskatoon. Thanks for joining us.